we keep, earth touching equipment like skid steers, excavators, that kind of stuff. Usually 3 years. That was kind of our amount of time, because at that point in time, you generally had still a really good machine that you could sell locally. A lot of rental companies really focus on auctioning equipment. We very rarely ever auction equipment. We like to sell it into our local economy with our stickers on it. It creates, another synergy of business. To where not only can I take care of, customer B or A, B, C, so-and-so on their rental side, but I can also take care of them on service and purchasing side. We can do everything in-house.
Welcome to the Landscape Cafe, brought to you with support from Fort Myers Garden Service, maintaining and protecting business and residential landscapes. Visit fortmyersgardenservice.com or call 239-990-7494.
Hey, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, I am here. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Oh, what did today look like for you?
Today was another busy day of just not having much stuff to rent people, making long lists of we'll call you backs.
Oh, man. How does that make you feel?
It sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of a good problem to have, but it kind of sucks too at the same time, because you can't, what you need.
Yeah, I mean, we take it with a grain of salt. I mean, it is one of those things where, we're happy that we have the equipment that we do have, and we're happy that we've been able to buy some more and get some more equipment in. So try to make everybody happy, which is difficult. So, but we're glad to be able to try to do it.
That's awesome, man. Have you gotten any new equipment since the hurricane, or maybe some new equipment right before the hurricane?
Yeah, we had gotten some new excavators before the hurricane. We had gotten in since the hurricane some lightly used track skid steers that we bought at auction, but they came from a dealer that we were kind of knew the history on, which is, kind of one of the scary things when buying from auction sometimes. Mm-hmm. But we were able to do that. We bought some, interior demo stuff that we usually don't keep a tremendous amount of stuff, like tile removers and different things like that. So try to grab stuff where we can. And we've been able to finally get some updates on some equipment that's coming in. So we'll be seeing a good amount of excavators coming in before the end of the year, which will be very helpful.
Nice. That's awesome. What do you think your maybe top two things are that people are renting right now?
Right now, I would have to say stump grinders and skid steers.
Yeah.
Followed really quickly behind with excavators. So really excavators, really anything to do with tree removal. So you'd have your stump grinders, your skid steers, your excavators, and your boom lifts are all waiting list equipments right now.
That's crazy. Boom lifts as in like a tree trimming boom lift, or installing a tree with the booms on the skid steer?
Oh, no, mainly for the tree trimming. So either the towables, like I think you guys have gotten from us sometimes,
right,
or more of like the all-terrain 4x4 ones you see on the job sites. Both of those have been in very high demand.
Nice. That's awesome. I bet you see a very different in terms of usage of the machines, the amount of hours for when it's post-hurricane versus on a normal basis. Is there a big jump in the hours when you rent to people right now?
Yes. And so much higher hour utilization, much higher hours on the machine. Pretty much everything that's out is being used from sun up to sundown, which is tremendously more than unusual job. Usually a general customer would use, say, an excavator for 3 to 4 hours a day, maybe. Right now they're running 10 hours a day, which then is, on the flip side, wear and tear is a lot higher on the equipment right now. So, having the right people to service that equipment, but also the fact that we have been next day airing in a lot of parts. And that is not something we ever do. And we're next day air in almost any part that we can get, so we can get the machines back out on rent.
Wow.
Which is kind of causing a little bit of headache, just because FedEx next day has not been tremendously helpful. I've had a lot of stuff stuck in Memphis for some reason. I don't know why that is, but I've got no answer for it. But yeah, trying to keep equipment up and running that is getting a lot more usage than it really would ever get is definitely a little stressful. But it it's the name of the game right now, and that's what we got to do.
Right. That's crazy, man. That's totally wild. Um, do you feel like you would rather be in normal business circumstances or post hurricane like you are now? Because now you're crazy slammed. I mean, every machine you got is probably out. What do you prefer as far as like business wise?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. As a person, I prefer not to have storm related business. Would I like to have this level of business more often? Yes, I would. I think anybody in business would lie to say they wouldn't want that. But would they want that attached to a hurricane? Probably not what I would want. Just because there's, my family lost their house.
Right.
I I luckily didn't have really any damage. I found out now I have a roof leak, so I have a contractor coming out right after this phone call to figure out how far that's going to be a problem. So yes, business is good. The flip side of that though is with everything being with so much equipment being on rent,
Mm-hmm.
there's then you get the on say what does everybody do during the day? Now we have everybody unplugged. We have no equipment to rent, so we can only sweep the same corner so many times. We can only do because if something doesn't come in off of rent, then we're not cutting people's hours because obviously there's the business is there, the money is there,
Right.
so that's kind of this new weird, quasi weird world that we have to figure out. How do we stay busy when we're so busy?
Right.
Because on some of the back house stuff, it's if nothing really comes in that day and nothing to go out, there's a lot of time to catch up on the putting up lights in the shop and taking opportunities when we have a little bit of downtime to work on that. So yeah, to say would I like this amount of business all the time, I would probably burn ourselves out pretty quickly if we did do that. But
Right.
it's nice to have a business. We're thankful to have the amount of business we do so that we could try to provide the flexibility for our employees if they've got to deal with meeting with insurance agents and different things like that. We've put together. We've always done a nice little bonus structure throughout the year, growth year over year month growth, and so
Nice.
everybody got a really nice bonus this month. So that kind of
Mm.
everyone puts a little smile on everybody's faces. So we're just trying to give back to our employees and try to keep a smile on everybody's face while we're really pushing through, trying to get equipment cycled quickly. So
Right.
it's weird. One day it's a crazy amount of stuff comes in and out. Another day like today, we had a tremendous day of business as an equipment that's on rent, but not a huge day of business and actual touches on machines. So it's a weird place to be.
Real funky. That's crazy. That's awesome. So you guys also have service technicians that work there every day, like come and like for example, I could bring my machine to you and you guys could fix it, or is that something you guys don't really want to do? You guys only service your own stuff. How does that work with your
Um,
service department?
so before there's a lot of answers to that question.
Mhm.
Before COVID, when we can get parts for everything, and there
Right.
wasn't this huge like parts, love it. Bring it in. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Bailey, you could bring in your trencher, and I could pretty much guarantee that I'd have it if it was broken. Seriously broken. I guarantee
Mhm.
I could probably have it back to you within a week. If to get it in, get the parts order, get it in, and get it worked on. Now I'm having stuff sit for 6, 7, 8 months for people that wanted to pay for it now, but then when the part comes in now don't want to pay for it. We're really tightening up on the brands that we do the work for. We're a Whacker dealer, we're a Toro dealer, we're a Steel dealer, Multi-Quip. So we're really trying to focus it down onto those main brands that we know we can get the parts, B, our guys are trained to work on it, and
Mhm.
C, a lot of this stuff has become so, I hate to say it, has become so throwaway. When the guy brings in the $300 Makita drill and wants us to fix it for the seventh time, it becomes, not cost effective for him to do it, not cost effective for me to do it. So yes. And now with how wide open everything is with the business and how much damage and wear and tear we're having on our own equipment, the mechanics are staying really busy on our stuff. That being said, we would love to do repairs on equipment. Just really depends on the brand. The shape the equipment's in, and what's expected to be done. So each thing's a little bit different than the other, but we don't want to close off that section of our business, but we are having to focus a lot more on keeping our equipment that's getting a lot more usage run onto it right now than usual. So we're telling people, if you bring it in, it may stay here for a little while, but I think that's kind of the same thing with everybody. So
yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. Okay. I love that. So what is I feel like every time I come in and get something from you guys, I feel like it's always brand new or fairly new. Do you guys, how does that work with your equipment that you rotate? Because I see you'll also sell it. I feel like once it gets to a certain point, you'll sell it. Is there like a trick that, or not a trick, but maybe like a method that you guys do to always keep new inventory? How does that work?
Yeah. So again, this goes basically back to the same answer that I had for the last one. Starts there. Before pre-COVID, we essentially would keep earth touching equipment like skid steers, excavators, that kind of stuff. Usually 3 years. That was kind of our amount of time, because at that point in time, you generally had still a really good machine that you could sell locally. A lot of rental companies really focus on auctioning equipment. We very rarely ever auction equipment. We like to sell it into our local economy with our stickers on it. It creates, another synergy of business to where not only can I take care of, customer B or A, B, C, so-and-so on their rental side, but I can also take care of them on service and purchasing side. We can do everything in-house. A lot of rental companies don't really like doing that because it is really multifaceted. You have to have kind of two mechanic streams, two, bookkeeper streams. It takes a lot to do that. But now with equipment shortages, there's a lot less used equipment being sold. It's demanding a higher price. It's staying in our fleet longer because it's harder to get new equipment in. But we do like to be able to try to always have a newer fleet. And I felt that again, up until pretty much COVID, I could say we had one of the newest fleets in town when it came to excavators, skid steers, tree trimmers, all that kind of stuff. We would try to rotate that all. We wouldn't want to let it run all the way to the end of its life and then auction it for nothing. We'd like to try to, not to mention that also makes us a higher profit margin. If we could sell it at a younger age, try to make good money on it now, we're selling somebody a working machine that they're going to be happy with. And it's not going to be in a week later broken down. One thing we do with that, with the company that we sell, Whacker, which is the excavators, the skid steers, they have a really good warranty company that they work with. And so most of the equipment that we sell used has either an extended warranty or a factory warranty on it. So the person that's buying it is buying it with the knowledge that, if this thing breaks in a year, I can bring it in and there's a good chance it's going to be no charge for me to be repaired. So we can move used equipment a lot better that way. And we could sell an extended warranty on essentially any machine we sell. We can do that. And it really helps with the customer because, there's a lot of questions when going and buying a used equipment. So if there's something to fulfill you on the back end, makes the sale a lot easier and makes it easier for us because then we love bringing it in for repair. It's not going to cost you anything.
Right.
Hopefully.
That's awesome. So how does that work when something goes down like that? Would the repair company then pay you back so then you don't get the hit on it?
Yeah. So we would, so essentially if I'm just going to use for instance, say you have, say you buy a new skid steer from me or a used skid steer from me. It doesn't really matter, new or used. You buy one from us. Essentially, we would be the authorized, repair facility for that. So you would bring it to us, we would order the parts, and we would, if we know that it's going to be a full-on claim, then we won't even charge your credit card. We'll follow it all. If there's ever going to be we don't know how it's going to go, a lot of times we will charge deposit on a credit card and then we'll refund that to you later once we're reimbursed by the warranty company. But for the most part, it's usually pretty cut and dry. And even if you're out in the field and say the starter goes bad and it's on the weekend and we're not there, and you have your friend who owns an auto body shop come out and fix the starter, bring the receipt to us and we can reimburse you.
Oh, wow. That's cool. That's pretty good.
So as long as the stuff isn't damaged, as long as it's not damaged, as long as it's a manufacturer defect or, a premature failure, that it's usually going to be covered depending on which warranty is available on that machine.
That is awesome. That is very cool. So your ideal customer, would you prefer residential or contractors? Where do you prefer? What do you fall towards mostly?
Well, I don't want to push anybody away, but we do focus generally on small contractors, 25 people or under. That being said, I deal a lot with homeowners, and we deal a lot with large concrete companies at 500, 1,000 employees. We don't pigeonhole ourselves in one sector, but we do consider ourselves what we call the light equipment specialists. And so we generally throughout the years have really aligned ourselves a lot with the 5 to 20 person, size company. That has kind of been our bread and butter. That's what what we work with as a small local company. But again, we have a lot of customers that are, a family that wants to come and just rent a little towable lift or something to do some trees around their house or to put up Christmas lights even. Right. And then we have, I have multinational corporations that we do business with. So it's kind of across the board, but we do, kind of focus on companies kind of like that reflect what we are.
That is awesome. I love that. That is something that I always come back to you guys. There's a couple reasons why. One, you guys are family owned, and you guys are always in the day-to-day operations. And you guys are always there if we need anything. And another reason is your equipment's always good. It's always in great shape. Never had an issue with it. There was just one time where a fuse went out or something stupid like that, actually, and you guys came right out and fixed it. And man, I love working with you guys. You guys have been definitely very friendly from the start. I know when I first started, I think I met your dad first, and then I met you, and then I met some of the guys in the shop, and it was always cool to, after a long day, dropping off a piece of equipment or early morning, getting in there. Definitely get a different feel walking into your shop versus some of the other ones around town. The other ones are okay. I mean, I'm not trashing them or anything. We've used them as well, but there's definitely a family feel and a family brand, I would say, with All-Star. And that's something I really love about you guys.
Thank you for listening in. Stay tuned for the next part in this conversation. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. And don't forget, the best place to rate or follow the show is at thelandscapecafe.com. The Landscape Cafe is a production of Pure Landscaping and the Niche Podcast Network. Learn more about Bailey, Katie, and the team by visiting purelandscaping.com.